What's good, y'all? It's Glory LaJoy, a.k.a. G Money, a.k.a. Big Glow with the dub, a.k.a. Glow if you know, and Lady G if you what?
Nasty.
And I'm here with the bestest ever doing my co-host.
Hey, y'all. It's E. Welcome in.
Clap. Oh, hey, girl.
That says a lot.
Yeah. How are you?
I'm all right.
Okay.
I should have slept sooner.
Okay.
I didn't go to bed until...
You a night owl for real.
Really, yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of the time, it's just I'm either replaying things or there are ideas spawning, and I'm like,
I get that. Yeah.
I'm trying to sleep. Like, now is not the time for this, but it's very much if I don't attend to it in that moment, then I'll lose it.
I get that.
Very quickly to lose things. So, yeah, I didn't go to bed until after close to 4 a.m. Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah.
I was getting up.
Why were you getting up at 4?
Amazon Flex. I did a
oh, you do like the
6:15
morning
a.m. Yeah, and you got to get there. You have to get there 15 minutes before.
Okay.
So my first alarm went off at 4:30. The second, wait, no, am I lying? 4:30 or 4:45? I had to get up at 5, and then be out by 5:30 because it's 30 minutes away. Yeah, but you know, I don't get up that like I have various moments where I'll get up like around 7. Consistently for a little while.
Yeah.
And then it kind of fades off.
Yeah.
But I don't be mad about it when it's happening, right? Like this morning because I was making good time, so I got myself some breakfast. And like I don't know, it's something about seeing the day, the dawn or the morning.
The sunrise?
The sunrise. Dawn is going to sleep, right?
No, that's dusk.
Oh, dusk.
Dawn is the morning coming.
Yeah. So, okay. So, yeah, it's something about that that's, like, nice. I hear it.
Yeah.
It was cool. It wasn't too bad. It wasn't too shabby, but, yeah, we was going to bed when I was getting up.
And I had gotten better. Like, it was a routine of me staying up that late for a minute, and then I got it together. And for whatever reason, there was a recent night where I stayed up to like 5 a.m. And so now it's kind of like my body's like, okay, we want to settle into this. Like, no, we cannot. We cannot settle into this schedule because it really throws off my equilibrium.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was no need. Like, I didn't need to be awake. Like, I really didn't. I watched my show. I stayed up late enough because I got home from door dashing, and I ate another meal, and then I had to let that digest. So I turned the TV off at about like 3 because I was watching an anime. I was like, okay, I'm gonna watch 2 more episodes, and then I'm gonna go to bed. And I stuck to that. I watched my 2, but then I didn't realize, oh dang, it's already almost 3. Like, it's 2:41. Like that. So yeah, I caught and then for whatever reason I was like, I got on my phone because I typically don't do that. Like, I'll stay off my phone if I'm in the bed because I just don't want to have any electronics while I'm actually trying to
turn down. You really have to. There's something around that, some science to that.
Yeah.
Like,
not
looking at the light a good amount of time before you're actually trying to go to bed,
right?
Because it can. Don't quote me.
It'll stimulate your mind.
It'll make your mind. Yeah. Somebody was like saying it can make your mind think it's still like light. Or something
and
like
it's
that.
not.
And it's not.
It's
right.
time for bed. Yeah.
Yeah.
So no. So yeah, I just kind of slipped up. So I'm gonna get back into the routine.
Be like that.
Yeah. If you like you said, you have moments where it's like, I'm doing well. This is fine.
Yep. Next thing you know, you up all night.
Yeah. So we're gonna get it together. We're gonna get together. Yeah. But what are we getting into today?
Yeah. So today's topic is accountability. We're gonna be breaking it down, examining it, how we've held ourselves accountable and others accountable. What has that looked like? How has it worked out? How has it not worked out?
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to the conversation. I feel like based on where my life is at right now,
Yeah.
there's definitely something at top of mind. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, let's start off by sharing an example. I'll ask you
Okay.
first. So, can you share a time that you held someone accountable or someone held you accountable? What was the experience like? Walk us through it.
The first thing that came to mind was a time that I held someone accountable. Because,
okay.
Of course, that's the easier choice.
Yeah.
But this had to do with my previous work. And we were all working on putting a training together. And we were including young professionals and being a part of that. And on the day, there were some shifts and changes. I can say that maybe we didn't do a fair enough job as the adults and folks that are used to doing those kinds of events at preparing them for maybe the emotional ups and downs, or really understanding what their triggers may be as it relates to being in a public space. A lot of people have a fear of public speaking. It's a very common fear. So we made some shifts, and in some regards, like, things still went okay, but in others it was like, now we have to have a hard conversation because some folks didn't do their part. But again, it comes down to communication and preparation. And so that was my first time maybe being that vocal and honest about, hey, we spent all this time we did prepare, but there were just things that we didn't talk through.
Yeah.
And yeah, you want to train folks so that they have the resources and the mindset that going forward, similar mistakes won't be made, but it's still okay to make mistakes. That's a part of the learning process. So it was my first time actually engaging in that conversation, and it didn't feel with these particular young folks, and they're not like, when I say young, I mean like these are young adults.
Yeah,
they're not children. Because that would be a very different conversation, and my approach to it looked different as well. But I said all that to say it was just challenging because that wasn't typically the orientation that I had. I think I was always much more relaxed around certain things because I knew that I was going to be leading and facilitating more often than not. So to kind of like give up that role, and sure, I had my own expectations, but I also don't expect people to meet my specific expectations because that just, you don't hold people to a standard that, first of all, you haven't even communicated. So, yeah, long story short, and I really didn't give much detail because I'm trying to be careful around it as well.
Like
but long story short, it was just a new way to engage with them and to hold them accountable for, like, this is how I would have prepared for this, and then this is how I would have approached it. Granted, you're not me. However, in the future, I would like to see a bit more communication, a bit more transparency, so then that way we can take appropriate measures so that you feel supported, but things still move accordingly. And I think we handled that. Like I said, I think we handled the hiccups well, but it was just, it's anxiety inducing because anytime something goes differently from what you planned, that shakes me up a little bit. Yeah. Like, I don't know that I show it or not. Like, no one came up to me and said, like, you seem like you were really rattled.
Yeah.
Or not that I remember anyone coming up to me saying that. That could have happened, but it does shake me up. So that's at least one example of a time where I held someone accountable and how I navigated the experience.
Yeah, that's good because I heard a number of things. The one thing I'll touch on is what does it look like to be in a leadership position or in a position to provide feedback?
Yeah.
And be able to hold someone accountable while also being mindful of who it is, the different things that impact who they are and how they may have been showing up.
Yeah.
And keeping that in mind while also making space for growth.
Exactly.
Because while I understand why the hiccup may have happened or whatever, I want to make sure it doesn't happen again, and you also learn something that grows you.
Yeah.
Because this is essentially going to be a tool for you later.
Right.
So me not holding you accountable now could be a detriment to your future or the way that you move forward with certain things.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's a good one, because that can be kind of, I think, for people who are like managers or just in leadership positions where they're managing other people or they're in positions where they have to kind of give directives and delegate or whatever. There are some people who are called like the helicopter people, who is like, I want you to do it exactly this way, blah, blah, right?
Yep.
And then you mentioned, like, you know, before this, I was pretty lax. And it's like, lax works until it don't work. Lax work until it don't work.
This is true.
And that's okay, right? Because there's a good middle ground, I think, to both of those, where it's like, I can give you my directives, I can even give you how I would do it, but I don't want to have to box you in that. Exactly. This is how I would do it. Yeah, I'm gonna give you some autonomy, agency autonomy, to kind of go about it in your own way, but also there are standards. Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, I can dig that.
Fair enough.
I can dig that.
Very, very, like, on the head, nail
on the head.
I don't know what I wanted to use the word. I wanted to use the word succinct, but I
knew you was.
But I didn't want to use the word succinct, so I was trying to find a different word, and I just couldn't grab.
That's okay.
Another term quick enough.
Yeah.
But that was a great summary. I just said that was a great summary. You reflected it very, very, very well. So now I'll turn it to you. What's an example of a time that you held someone accountable, or someone held you accountable, and what was that experience like?
Yeah. So the one that's at the top of my mind is a moment where, in reflection of how I showed up in a particular relationship, and thinking about how I myself could have done things differently, not to say I was the only reason for the end of it, but in reflection, kind of sitting with, like, because, you know, you be in relationships and, like, it's easy to be like, and they did this, and they did that, and blah, 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 and this why it happened, right? And you can kind of get clouded with everything they did, and you never really sit with, like, well, how did you show up in it, you know? And so I kind of had one of those moments. This was probably, like, 5 years ago or something. And I was talking to Bree, and I don't know what she said, but we was just having a conversation, and it made me kind of sit with, like, okay, yeah, like, although that person did some things that wasn't cool, like, I could see how I just maybe wasn't easy to interact with or talk to about certain things, or, you know what I'm saying? And so, like, in that moment, when I realized that, I decided to reach out to that person to apologize. There was I didn't expect the apology to lead to anything. It was just more of, like, I just want to say this. Because, like, I just realized it. Because I really didn't realize it. Okay? I really did. And upon realizing, I was like, dang, okay. So I reached out, and I was just like, you know, I just want to apologize. Yeah. Because I recognized that, like, I didn't show up in the best way. There are things I could have did differently. And I think sometimes we don't really think about, what does it feel like to be accountable and the person does not receive it? And that's what happened. Like, they did not accept my apology at the time. Well, they did not accept my apology. And, you know, you can't make nobody accept your apology, right? Like, it's one of them things that it's out there, it's genuine. If you know that, then it's kind of like, well, you know, I'm bringing it to you. I want to acknowledge my wrong, but if you don't want to accept it or you can't accept it, there's really nothing that I can do about that. And I also should not be apologizing to expect that you will accept it, right? So the accountability was in this situation was more about me realizing that that there's something I could have did different, going to that person and saying, hey, like, in reflection, I can see how things could have been different, done differently, and I apologize for that. And that was it. That person didn't accept the apology. It wasn't nothing that I could do about that. I understood that that's something that they got to work through on their own, in their own time, through their own journey.
Yeah.
But it was the first time that I had ever, like, apologized to somebody and they didn't accept it. And it was like, okay, well, that's actually the one and only time that has ever happened to me. But I do think it taught me something about what does it mean to be accountable. Like, at the end of the day, like, it is helpful to other people around me, but ultimately, like, I'm doing it because I hold myself to a standard of being accountable, and I want to make sure that I'm doing that for me and also the people around me, right?
So, thank you for sharing. In that, I heard obviously self accountability, and then a little bit of repair. So you had some time to reflect on your past actions, take responsibility for how the impact of those actions or the impact those actions had on the other person and the relationship. So yeah, hearing that you apologize to repair, not necessarily meaning that, okay, everything, the slate is clean now, like that, but it's holding yourself to a value of being honest, being transparent, and being maybe even a bit restorative, but not really expecting anything in return to come out of that, but just like, here's what I know I did wrong. Yeah. I'm absolutely responsible for that in this, that, and the third way. I apologize for the effect that it had on you, and I just wanted to say that I know that. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I heard in your reflections. And that's very real. And I think it also takes us nicely into thinking through how we define accountability and what has shaped our definition of what accountability is. And so I think accountability includes reflection. I think it includes, obviously, like the general definition is taking responsibility for your actions. So owning up to, like, how you contributed to a thing, positively or negatively. Like, what was your impact? What did you input into whatever process is happening? I think it includes correction. Yeah. And I think it can include repair or restoration depending on the dynamic of the relationship. So in the example you shared, y'all had already ended the relationship, so there is not going to be any, like, rekindling or restarting of anything. But I mentioned the word repair because it can be reparative when someone can admit how they were wrong. And they express that to you. Absolutely. And whether or not you are accepting of that expression isn't the point. Right. Because, like you said, that's their thing to work through. It's again just about being honest and transparent. Like, I see better now. I've reflected. I see better now the effect that this had, and I don't want to continue having that effect on people. Right. So, I'm owning the fact that this is where I was. It's not where I am now. Yeah. But I'm sorry that where I was harmed you. Exactly. So yeah. Yeah, that's a retweet. What could I add to that? Well, thank you. What could I add to that? I mean, that was perfect. I would just say, like, yeah, I don't know. Let me think. No, yeah. Honestly, yeah. That was it. There's literally nothing better to add to that. Well, outside of the adding to defining accountability, the other part of the question was what experiences have helped shape that definition. So outside of that experience that you shared, what are some other things that you've experienced that make you retweet? Like, absolutely, accountability involves reflection, repair, transparency, all the things that I said off top. We're
Oddly enough, at the top of my mind right now is like different shows, specifically like when in our kid and teenage more of our kid era, like That's So Raven, or like a what else am I thinking about? Ned Declassified. I know I said.
No, that's right.
But okay, and like stuff like that. I don't know if other kids were paying attention to it. I feel like it was definitely intertwined intentionally. But you know, a lot of those shows, there was always like, there's this plot, the character is doing a thing, there's some type of peak conflict situation, right? And the end typically always ended with them being accountable to the thing, apologizing or something like that. Yeah. So that's one thing that comes at the top of mind when I think about what has like poured into my definition and how I see it and why I agree with what you said. I think the other thing is just like growing up and story time. This is a short story. Okay. Being at my cousin's house and you know, we were told don't pick up the phone, don't answer the phone while I'm gone. And I was at my cousin's house. So it's my first cousin who's an adult. Her kids are my second cousins, but we around the same age. Fair. So we was all probably like 7, 8 or something like that. And then her oldest is like 2 years older than me, so he was probably like 11. Okay. So either way, she had left. Don't answer the phone, blah, blah, blah. I'm over there. My mom calls. And I want to say she had caller ID. So I had picked up the phone. And so when she got home, I was on the phone with my mom. Oh. And I want to say she was asking, like, you know, did the phone ring? Who picked up the phone? Blah, 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 whatever. And I think there was some, she thought that her daughter had picked up the phone, so she had said, like, she was about to get a whooping because she picked the phone up. And my cousins were like, she was upset because she was nervous about getting a whooping, and like I just remember basically like they like, can you go tell her that it wasn't her because blah 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 blah, right? And so I ended up going in there to say I'm the one who picked up the phone, or I called my mom or something like that to clarify so she didn't get in trouble. But then I sat in the front room because I felt like they was so upset with me because she was about, you know. So my cousin like comes out eventually, my older cousin.
So you punished yourself?
I punished myself.
Isolated yourself?
Yeah. And so she's like, why are you sitting here? I'm like, because they're mad at me because blah, blah. She's like, girl, go back in there. Like, and so I think about that, right? Like when it comes to being accountable, and I think this is just, I'm just wired this way. I don't like hurting people. I don't like hurting people's feelings. I don't like being the cause of somebody's hurt or harm. Like, I just never... Yeah. I never liked that. Yeah. I never did well with that. And I would absolutely punish myself for hurting people most of the time. Now, I did have some other times where I did not feel sorry. But, like, if it was somebody that I cared about and that, you know, if it was somebody I cared about and whatever, like, I would feel bad. Yeah. And so I think that, like, I've always kind of had a sense of accountability, even before I could name it, of just feeling responsible for somebody else's hurt. Yeah. But I do think as I got older, right, I had to separate, like, was this really me and did I do this? Or, you know what I'm saying? Because some people will really play on it and make you feel like you did a thing and this is why you did this because, and it's like, you got to be able to take a step back and know, like you said, reflection. Am I a part of the harm? How not? Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So. Yeah.
No, that's valid. Cool. The point I want to touch on is feeling responsible for other people's hurt. That's an interesting take. Because I wouldn't say that I felt responsible for other people's hurt. But have felt responsible for like, if I've done something to make someone, like, uncomfortable around me. I've felt that. I know what that feels like. It's like, it's a really awkward and ambiguous and, like, it inspires anxiety in me where I'm just like, I don't know if this person is comfortable around me. I don't know if I said the wrong thing or I did the wrong thing. And I immediately want to fix it. I immediately want to repair because I'm like, they can't have this perception of me. I can't live with that perception. Yeah. So I think it's not necessarily being responsible for how you make other people feel, because people have feelings about a number of things all the time, and who's to say that specific thing that you did at that moment is the exact reason why they feel that way. Right. And also, I think the way we experience our emotions, I don't know that this applies to everyone, so I'll speak for myself, but they're like interconnected. Like there's or multifaceted. I don't think there's ever been a time where I'm like, I'm only feeling one emotion.
Oh, okay, yeah, I see
like,
what you're saying.
I'm probably feeling a number of things, but there's probably one emotion that takes precedent.
I get that, yeah.
And so, like, when you realize that something is off, like the energy is off, or like someone's presence, like how they're engaging with you, it feels different than it has in previous interactions. I feel responsible for like how I'm showing up in the space, and then seeing the effect of that, and then wanting to repair. Like, and sometimes the repair is maybe just being transparent and being like, hey, I'm really going through a thing right now. Yeah. Or you're disclosing what's happening internally for you. Yeah. So then they can like see it.
There's this context.
Yeah, and understand it, and then be like, okay, so then maybe we need to shift gears in this way. But I think in practice I found myself trying to, like, the more that I get to know people, and understand the way in which I'm relating to them, I try to kind of like predict, like, well, maybe they're going to feel this way about it, or maybe they're going to think this thing about it, so that I can prepare myself for the eventual resolution. And sometimes it's not even a big thing, but like, I've sat with it for so long and created this narrative around it that now it is a big thing. And until I'm in their presence again, and it's like, okay, now I can read.
It's like a reset.
Yeah. So I don't know where I was going.
That's okay.
By sharing all that, but I guess like my conclusion is I'm responding to like that, the specific cognitive. Yeah. I would feel responsible for people's hurt, and it's like, well, I wouldn't say I feel responsible for people's hurt, because I'm not responsible for anyone's feelings but my own. However, like, I can tell when an energy is shifted and changed, and maybe I did or said something to contribute to that change. And so now I want to figure out how do I fix it? How do I navigate
the
how do I navigate going about it? Yeah.
I feel that. It's the thing.
Was it though?
I mean, it came together. I was following.
Okay,
I was following.
As long as you was picking up what I'm putting down. Then that we're good. Yeah. And as long as y'all are picking it up as well,
right? Because they are here.
Because you're listening to the squabble. So yeah,
squabble. That was actually funny. That's hilarious. Okay, so next question, and I'll pose this to you first.
Okay.
So when we make mistakes, what influences how we respond? So when you make mistakes, I realized that after oh whoa.
Yikes. Well, I don't like making mistakes. Let's start with that. I want to get it right the first time. And so I like to prepare. Like if it's something like it's a big responsibility, a big task that I'm undertaking, I want to kind of map out what it is I'm trying to accomplish and maybe contemplate well what could go wrong so then I have, a plan B. Um but oftentimes, you make your plans and then you actually do the thing and things go left, right, up and down, and things that you didn't even consider while you were preparing. And so you just have to adjust in real time. And I thankfully do think I am a pretty adaptable and flexible person. I don't think I'm very rigid about things. When I do feel strongly about something and I'm like, no, it should be done this way, this makes the most sense, I can vocalize that. But if everyone else is like, no, we should just try this, and they make a their argument is sound, in my opinion, I'm like, all right, bet. But I am kind of the petty part of me is like, it's not like I'm plotting on the downfall, but when it goes wrong,
waiting on it to go wrong.
When it goes wrong, I'm not gonna say I told you so, but my energy gonna be like, see, like, because what I said that this could happen, but then nobody would listen to me. Okay. But anyway, so yeah, preparation is key. So to try and avoid mistakes, but I'm now learning to lean into like it's okay if you mess up. It's okay, and it actually might be a greater contributor to your success if you do mess up, because now you know
what not to do.
You know what not to do, but also it's like you live that experience, and even with all that preparation for trying to predict what could go wrong and having a plan B, like all the things that you plan for, like things are still going to shift.
Yeah.
So like just lean into that. Yeah. Just lean into that. Like you still do what you need to do so that you feel confident, but lean into like it's probably gonna go every once in a while. And know that you can still follow through. You can still move forward. It's not going to be the end of the thing necessarily. So what influences how I've been able to lean into that and how I've learned to be okay with accepting making mistakes is like people reminding me that I can. Yeah. Like people telling me, like people making it clear that it is okay to make mistakes, that they're not expecting me to be perfect, because I have gotten feedback where it's like I exceed expectations. I have a very strong work ethic. I'm gonna do my job and then some. And then I'm not necessarily going to complain. Like I may have my concerns or my hangups, but like at the end of the day, if it's my responsibility, I'm gonna do it. And if it's something that I don't really feel comfortable doing, or I'm not so sure maybe I'm the best fit for it, I will also vocalize that. I don't know that I'm ready for this yet, and so I don't want to step out on I don't want you to be stepping out on a limb for me and vouching for me, and then I fail to meet expectations. You know what I'm saying? So being reminded by people and knowing that I feel supported by those people, because people could tell you like it's okay to make mistakes, but if you don't generally feel safe and supported by the people, then that means nothing. And then also just like listening to other people and their experiences and what they've been through, and them talking about the mistakes they made or the challenges that they face or the things that they're still working through. It helps to humanize. Like you're not this superhero. You're not this like God. Like you're a person. Yeah. And you're gonna fuck up. Yeah. And that's okay. Like now it's not okay to fuck up and keep fucking up and knowing the reasons why you're fucking up. That's not okay, because now that's being abusive. Now we're making excuses. We're not taking accountability for our actions.
So overall, what listening to you talk made me think about how making mistakes is one of the things that can help us be more accountable as we move on and move forward, and being allowed to make the mistake. So in your initial example of holding somebody accountable
Mm-hmm.
at the beginning,
mm-hmm.
you were holding them accountable while still making space for improvement without what's the word, like without shaming them, right? And I think that is a really important thing. When I did have a TikTok, I made a TikTok about how, like, being mindful, and I was talking about children, but just being mindful about how you provide feedback and room for improvement, or what is it called, constructive feedback or criticism. Being mindful of that, because it is important for their growth for you to hold them accountable. But if done the wrong way, it could hinder them in a way that like will take a lot of time to get past, especially kids.
Yeah.
And I kind of grew up around a certain space where you were shamed for doing a thing, like shamed for making the mistake, and so then you would get nervous to make mistakes.
Yeah, like you should know better,
right?
Yeah.
And so being able to instead hold them accountable and then work through what to do different, then gives me it gives me the space to feel safe, but also helps me then understand, like, okay, I can see what you mean. Like, I can see why I could have did that differently.
Yeah.
And it also gives me the language of accountability. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's one of the things that I was thinking about when you were talking, just like how, because mistakes, like you said, I mean, mistakes are going to happen. That's literally, that come with the humanity package. That's one of the things that's just in there. Like, you don't get out of that one. And there are things that you can do, like you said, planning and preparation. But ultimately, like, you don't know what's gonna happen. Ideally, you hope that it happened the way you want it to happen, but like, that's not really how much happens. There's not a lot of stuff that go that way. Yeah. Like, usually it's some things that come up that, like, you didn't foresee, and hopefully you are prepared to manage it. And if you're not, that's okay. But also being able to say, like, yeah, I wasn't ready for that. Yeah. Or like, I didn't see that coming, and like, in reflection, this is where I could have pivoted differently. But in the moment, I was caught off guard. Right? That is
hindsight is 2020.
Oh man, is it? Oh man, is it? So a lot of times it's like, it's literally, I don't know what society thinks accountability is, but like, it is usually, it's as at its core, it's just, I can see how I messed that up, and I can see what to do differently next time. That's it. And giving space for, like, the reality that, like, depending on what it is, you might have to give it a try a couple times. Yeah. You might mess it up the first time. Yeah. Do something different, and it might not necessarily be perfect. Yeah. But it still wasn't what it needed to be, right? Or like, I'm thinking about Love Is Blind right now. Oh. I watched the last one that was in Ohio. Oh. And there was a couple that, I don't know if I'm derailing us, but if so, we can just cut it. Okay. Okay. So there was a couple who they seemed very good. They were a good couple, but something that I had noticed from their communication was that the guy, he definitely wanted to be there. He definitely wanted to be present. He definitely was all in. I think the woman was as well, but it was clear she had been hurt so much that you could tell that her insecurities and the things that she had experienced before were coming out in this relationship with him. And so, like, you could see how within the relationship, her past stuff was definitely coming up, and it was impacting how she was communicating with him and how she was showing up in the relationship. Yeah. It was very clear that, like, she needed to do some type of therapy. If she's going to try to be in a relationship, especially married to somebody, she's going to have to work through that. Right. Because ultimately, like, there were things that she hadn't been able to grapple with that were impacting how she showed up with him and how she was treating him, right? And so it's like, here's this guy who really wants to be here, but he knows his self-worth enough to not stay in something that is going to cause him harm.
Yeah.
And so I think I was thinking about that just in regards to like, and we mentioned this at the beginning, self accountability, because it's like you have to. I mean, and self accountability is under the umbrella of emotional intelligence and self awareness. And so accountability itself, I think, is a big part of self awareness. Yeah. Right, like. There's a lot of people who are not self-aware who can't even understand how they did something to even you know what I'm saying? And so I don't know, it's interesting. I'm thinking like, I wonder if there's a statistic. Is there a test to determine somebody's level of self-awareness, and if so, what would be the percentage of people in America alone that has like a mid to high self-awareness, whatever that would be called, you know? Because it's this is a hypothesis. I think it has been proven somewhere, but don't quote me. Self-awareness being tied to like intelligence.
Yeah. That's literally where my thought was. I was like, I don't know if there's specifically a metric that measures self-awareness itself, but typically anyone has a high intelligence would also have a high degree of self-awareness. Or at least you would expect that those two things are correlated, because how can you be so smart but you have no clue how you affect people? Like, which
now that we're
talking
loud, I'm like, wait a second.
It may not be.
Yeah, I don't know.
The hypothesis may be that they do trend positively, like they positively correlate. If one is up, the other goes up, but they could be negatively correlated. The higher them, because when we talk about some of these folks out here, that's really. They all
very much smart, but
it's just like you doing some really egregious things with that intelligence.
You clearly lack,
and you know that you're doing it. Like, hold on, hold on. So maybe not.
Now,
maybe not.
Yeah.
So it's like this. So maybe you aim to have like an average intelligence, or average or above average intelligence, but you don't want to be like genius
so high,
because if you're genius, you're like
knocks you off the self-awareness.
Yeah, like you're just like, because I mean, think about it. I'm thinking about like people that have been called geniuses from an artistic point of view. So like thinking of your classical composers, like your Beethovens and your Mozarts or your Van Goghs, and it's like, I mean, I don't really know much about their personal lives, but I do know Beethoven was like. I don't want to put a specific label on it.
Okay,
he was out there.
Okay. I mean, okay, yeah.
So, but like he. I love off camera. You've used the term alchemize. He alchemized it into some banging classical music. Yes, you know what I'm saying? So memorable. Like, exactly. So, but that level of genius,
right?
So, because everything is yin and yang. Yeah. Everything is give and take.
Come on.
So if you
duality, let's go.
Look at the connection. Yeah. So if you're up here in one aspect, that may mean you're taking away. Well, it doesn't necessarily you're taking away from that specific aspect, but there's a balance.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So,
yeah. That's good. That's good. Yeah. Yeah. So I think
mistakes,
right? Oh, because I'm supposed to be answering it.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Right. What influences how I respond to my mistakes? I'm also with you. I do not like making mistakes. Oh my gosh, I don't like it. I beat myself up. I be beating myself up here.
Yeah,
because I just don't want to mess up. But I know that. I'm sorry.
Quick aside, because when you said I would beat myself up here, my mind was like, well, yeah, where else would you be doing it? And then I had to think about, like, some people might actually be like, like that literally happened to me the other day. I was at this bookstore, And I was talking to the lady that runs the bookstore, and she like flubbed on communicating like a date or whatever it is that she was telling me about.
She did not hit herself.
She slapped herself in the face.
Seriously?
I'm so serious though. And I was just like, okay. And I'm like, I don't really know her like that, so I'm not gonna comment on it.
Yeah.
But also, so that's what.
Wow.
That's what my brain went, because you could physically be hurting yourself
when you make a mistake.
When you make a mistake, or like if you're like
trying to
in your head about it, in your head about something, you could physically be hurting yourself.
That is true.
So that's why I didn't. That's why, even though I'm bringing it up now, but like that's why I didn't respond in real time. Like, how else would you? Because it could happen.
Because
case in point,
I would have been like, that would have caught me off guard, for real.
Like, oh, are you okay?
Right.
But I didn't even. It was like, I registered that happened.
Yeah.
But I was like, well, she does this all the time.
Good.
Because it just...
That's her business.
Exactly. Like, I'm gonna let you have
that's
that.
Her business.
Because because she was talkative. So
yeah.
She could have easily been like, well, I've been doing that. And I'm not trying to... No, I'm not trying to...
It's just your business.
That's your business.
Yeah. That's fair. Okay. Well, yeah. Yeah, I do not like making mistakes. I think one thing that I've tried to be very intentional about when I do make a mistake, especially if other people are a part of it or whatever, is just being upfront and transparent. Like, okay, yeah, like, I can be kind of intense though, because I take it because it'd be so deep for me.
Yeah.
So it'd be like, I'm sorry, and I did this, and I know that I messed up, and literally the world is falling, and the freaking blah blah blah, and X, Y, and Z. You know, because I do not like it. I do think it has something to do with just like not feeling safe as a kid to make mistakes. Yeah. And being redirected in a way that didn't feel shameful. Yeah. So, like, I just shame myself. Yeah. Yeah. Like, I know that that's where that comes from. I will shame the mess out of myself in here. Yeah. And then I got to talk myself back, like, okay. Yeah. But being accountable to it, if other people are a part of it or whatever, is helpful. Because oftentimes, like, people just want you to be upfront with them. They just want you to be honest. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times, once you communicate it, then there's a sense of like, because again, like you said, like when you make a mistake, especially if other people are a part of the thing, my anxiety is up through the roof now. Right. And so now I have to so once I communicate it and then we start a conversation and some dialogue, then it's like, okay, because they're not even, the world is not falling for them. This is not that big of a deal. Yeah. So you're okay. Yeah. Like, it's all right. Everything's fine. Yeah. Nothing's ruined. Yeah. You're okay. Yeah. Yeah.
That validation.
Man.
Sometimes it's so necessary. Yeah. But, like, learning to, you can do that for yourself.
Absolutely.
But you kind of have to go through the process of confronting whatever emotions are very intense. Yep. Bringing things down to a manageable level, and then okay, this is how I can. You know, but when you're like,
everything is like
exactly. So
all these movements today.
That's what it is. So if anything, having this conversation is very much like an embodied experience. Yeah. Because I don't shy away from confrontation. Mm-hmm. I think it's important to confront a thing and to put all the cards on the table so that we know where we're at. Yeah. We know what pages we're on.
Absolutely.
And we can work to get on a similar page. Yeah. Or find a compromise. But when it's things are up in the air and you don't know, and then sometimes it's the fear of well, I don't know how this is gonna go. I've rehearsed a conversation, a scenario in my mind to prepare for where it could go, but I generally don't know. And so I'm being brave and I'm addressing it, but I don't want it to go sideways. And so until you get the response back, and you can only get better at that.
Yeah, it's a muscle.
If there's a safety there, like
Right.
if a person that you're engaging with they're too unpredictable, like you don't really know how to read them, and you're addressing something that's difficult or challenging or that's been like, you know, tearing you up inside, and then they have a response that's left field of whatever you will probably never address anything with it. You probably, I'm cutting off the relationship. Like, I want nothing to do with you because I can't handle it. Like, bro. Yeah. And you know what? That makes me think of a lived example. Because, like, a situation, it was a domestic situation that happened. This was when I was like 16 years old.
Okay.
I'm witnessing this happening.
Okay.
I don't know what the fuck to do, but I do know that my brother's daddy, because we all have different fathers. We have the same mother. My brother's daddy used to also put his hands on my mom. So, and at that point in time, I was the kid that would be like, "Oh, I'm gonna get involved," and then just get flung. That's like, what you finna do? Yeah. That is a 6-something-foot man, and you yay high. Yeah. What the hell you think you do? Yeah. But I'm just like, don't touch my mom. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that kind of energy.
Absolutely.
So knowing that, like, that had been my experience younger, me now being 16, seeing this, not seeing it with my eyes, but hearing shit. Yeah. Because it was popping off. Yeah. So I'm texting people that I know this person, and I know this person has a trusted relationship to be like, what the fuck do I do? Because my inclination was like, I'm calling the cops. Like, so, and they talked me down. They were like, don't do that. I don't know. They maybe just told me like just to wait it out or like just to go home. I don't know what it was. But the very next morning, I went home. I didn't say nothing, you know, and then immediately like that wall went up. I'm like, we're done. I can't have a relationship with this person anymore. Because there were other things too that I think I was observing, and it's like I think I was observing and I was judging, and I was also hearing reflections from my mom and how she looked at our dynamic and things like that. And so yeah, I kind of just was like, I cut off the relationship because I didn't know what else to do. I was 16, and then the way in which that person approached me when it became clear that like I wasn't, it was like. They were basically like, it's fine for you to cut me off, but you're also not interacting with my kids. Like, they didn't even do anything. Like, that's wrong with you. And I'm just like, but I'm also a kid. Like, you're a grown-ass woman talking to me, a kid, telling me that I'm wrong. Yeah. That was a teachable moment for her to be like, let's have a conversation about this. Like, oh, I would have talked to you, but you had already left. You didn't say anything. You haven't talked. So it's just like, we could have all handled it differently. A lot of variables in that. But it made me think of that. It's like you don't have, if you're not sure of how things are gonna go, you're gonna go whatever your default response is. And my default response when I really don't know what the fuck is going on and I don't know how to handle it is I remove myself. I'm gone. Gone. And we're gonna isolate and then I'm gonna have my alone time and I can control my environment and feel safe.
Yeah. No, I feel that. You just made me think of a situation I had a few years ago where something happened with a friend, and I was upset, and I like reached out, and I was just like, "What the fuck, bro? XYZ." The way in which they responded was like. And in that moment, I can name it now because I can, like, I be trying to, when it comes to friends, because friendship is just, it's super important to me. And I feel like I've been in a few friendship relationships where I just try to, like, not sweep it under the rug, but just address it. Okay, you know what? Maybe I'm tripping. All right, you know, like almost like invalidating minimize it. Minimize. And that's what I did in the moment. But when I sat with it, and I was like, this person know me, like all of these different things. And then when they like, there was a follow up to explain a little bit more about why it happened, and I just knew it was bullshit because I'm like, we pretty close. So I know when you full of it. Yeah. And that's not legit. Yeah. And because I am somebody who has actively throughout my life and still is struggles with like trust and being able to really feel solid in who I trust.
Right.
That's something I've actively struggled with. And so like for me it's kind of like yeah.
Deuces.
Yeah. I wish you the best. I love you. I still love you. But that's unsafe. That don't feel safe for me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like, and in that situation, right? Like I was direct. I would say that there was like was there a lack of accountability? I mean, and I think I don't want to go into too much of the detail.
Fair enough.
You know, but like, yeah, the whole thing just, it felt unsafe. And so it was just like, okay, yeah, nah. Yeah. So I feel you. I just say all that to say, I feel you on removing myself. I'm good to do that one. And I've had instances where people have tried to make me feel bad about it. Like if I am in a space where maybe there's a conversation that I know is going to bring my blood pressure all the way up and like the best thing for me to do is remove myself because I'm going to say something. I'm gonna remove myself because I don't want to go back and forth with you because that's not gonna do anything,
right?
Or if I'm so upset and you want to have a conversation but the way in which you're communicating is showing me that like you're not interested in listening, you're interested in trying to prove it, then I'm going to end it here because I'm not at a place to be able to do this. So I don't want it to be counterproductive, or a waste of my time, or a waste of yours, right? So again, I'm just, as we're talking, self accountability. You know what I'm saying? Self accountability, like self.
Yeah. No, that's fair.
You know?
Yeah. Before we move on to the last thing, a question I have for you, and I think it's also important to name it because there may be people that don't recognize that that's what's happening. It's like what do you experience in your body that lets you know that a thing is unsafe for you or is like helping you paint that picture that it's like I need to remove myself or I need to take a specific action to navigate the situation accordingly. Like what kinds of things did you feel? I know we've talked about the emotions, be like anxiety and things like that, but like what is it? What are you actually experiencing in your body?
That's good. So the description I just gave about if there's like a topic, a conversation that's like very heavy or I feel very passionate about, I will start to get hot.
Where?
Physically, like my body.
Everywhere?
Well, yes. Yeah,
is it concentrated in any specific place or is it you're just
probably just like all up here. I don't know if that it happens down here, but like I can feel myself getting warm.
Yeah.
My heart will race, start to beat a little bit.
Yeah. Well, more than a little bit.
Well, yeah.
It's already beating.
Okay, it'll speed up. My heart will speed up.
Yeah. And because if it's only beat a little bit, you're on your way to that.
I'm in trouble. So I'll get warm. Yeah. And my heart will start to speed up.
Yeah.
And I want to say something like I feel like my body typically goes into this need to deep breathe. So it's like a default. When I feel that way, then I start to.
So like you'll sigh.
Like, because I'm trying to like. Because I'm trying to bring it down. Because I'm trying to bring my heart rate down. So I immediately go into that.
Yeah.
But that doesn't calm me down. So if I start breathing and it's not working, I need to go. Because the next thing that I'm about to do is say something. And I'm not going to say it nice. And it's not going to come out cute. I might yell. You know, like,
valid.
Because of how I, like, based on how I'm feeling, there's no calm octave here. So when I start to feel that way, it's like, this is not good.
Yeah.
And that's just upon like this is an uncomfortable, like this is something that will lead to like an argument or something. Now, if I'm deep in a conversation already and things are getting heightened, and we're already doing the thing.
Mm-hmm.
This is the truth. You can tell when you want to hit somebody. You can feel it. I mean, for the people who feel that, I don't know. I feel like everybody kind of.
Are you saying like your hands start twitching, your body gets tense? Like, what's happening?
I can just speak. My brain is literally like, I'm about to hit your ass. I don't know how it feels. I just know when I start to think about it, that is you need to go immediately. Like, abort the mission, get out of there. You shouldn't even be here. Cause then I go back to like holding myself accountable. Cause for me to be this far, what I just described has already happened. And likely if there's a moment where I'm trying to gain clarity and it's not clarity being given, it's BS. I'm getting warmer. My heart is beating. I can feel my face making facial. Like, I can feel I'm
squinting at you.
I'm just, and so there's levels.
Okay.
The worst level is when I'm thinking like, I'm about to hit your ass. if somebody like, you might, I don't know, ball your fist up. Like, I've done that and like actually hurt my own self by doing it so hard.
Yeah, your nails are so long too. But
so that has like been a thing. But we are outside of just the aggressive piece of it all, because I feel like I'm highlighting the most aggressive parts of when it doesn't feel safe. If I am. Yeah, let's take a step back to the experience that I was talking about where the friend did something that just felt. So, initially I did address it. I was definitely not calm, but I wasn't like yelling, but I was just like, what the fuck, bro? In that moment my heart was beating. Then I asked for clarity. They sent me something back or whatever.
Oh, this was over text?
Well, yeah, I sent the audio message.
Okay.
They sent a verbal text message, and then we ended up on the phone.
Okay.
I mean, they sent a text message.
Yeah.
Once we were on the phone, I'm listening. My heart is beating faster than usual. I'm not hot, but there is a sense of anxiety. So, how would I describe how I was feeling? I don't actually know. I feel
where would you say that anxiety?
Probably in here,
in your throat. So like, was it dry? Was it feeling like it
maybe
was
just tense a little? Yeah, maybe just a little tense. It's interesting because I can describe the when it feels more aggressive, but I think when it just feels emotionally unsafe, it's up here, and I do feel like. Maybe in the moment, it's up here, and then when I think about it after I'm not engaging anymore, is when it's more like in my chest, and it just feels kind of tight, and more just like something is unsettling. Something feels unsettled. Something feels wrong. Like something is creating energy that makes me feel like I'm not centered.
I would venture to say that obviously I'm not inside your body, so I can't speak for that, but I would venture to say that it probably is all happening simultaneously.
Yeah.
But like you're more locked into the narrative and the thought, because that's probably where you're most comfortable. And like the connection to body and like where like the sensations that comes after, but I would also guess too what you feel after is the residual of the activation. So like you were hyper like you were activated and very intensely in the moment in that conversation, and then once it was over and now your body's going to like your parasympathetic. Yeah, exactly. Now it's like you're feeling the residuals of that hyper intensity. Yeah. And I think the goal is like the connection between the two. Yeah. Like I know what I'm thinking, but I also know what I'm feeling. Like I know where the sensations are being concentrated, and then like, taking the steps to bring everything down. Because, like, if the brain is so active that now you're not thinking clearly about whatever it is how you want to respond, because this part of your brain, your prefrontal cortex, where all the executive function happens, has been hijacked because your limbic system, which is in the back of your brain, which is where all of your feelings originate, in terms of the brain, because your feelings are also in your body as well, but your brain is the one that's sending those signals. That part is just like, alert, 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 like alarms are going off, and it's like, get out of there, get out. So then you have like a one-track mind thing, and it's like, it's learning how to literally process and like sit through it all. And I think the trouble sometimes people have with that is they think like the things that you need to do need to happen, like they need to work instantaneously, because everything else is already happening like automatically. You didn't have to think about it, but that's because your brain, given whatever experiences you has had history of creating those pathways, so that it's gonna fire like this. So until you've built up the muscle and had the training to reroute and rewire new pathways, it's not going to become automatic. And then there's coping skills for different levels. So it's like, if you're at 100, your coping skills that you use when you're at like 50 or when you're below it, you're not going to use them coping skills. You got to use something else. You know what I'm saying? So that's good. I say all that to say that like that's what I want for myself, and that's what I would hope for you too, is just being more embodied, like not being so comfortable up here and the narrative and the thing, and being like, okay, what's like taking the time and being like, what's going on? Like, what am I feeling in my body right now? I feel the tightness in my chest, or I feel a little squirrely, like I got butterflies, but it's not because I'm excited. I'm a little nervous, I'm anxious, or whatever it is. And it's like, okay, well, what do I need right now? Like, what's gonna help balance this out? Because it's okay that I feel this way. Right. And there's a reason I'm feeling this way. Right. Because brain is like, oh, is everything all right? We good? Yeah. Like, because what's going on? Yeah. Because I'm ready to, we fight or flight. I'm ready to go. When you ready to go, we ready to go. We gonna flare fist on. You know? So, you know what? So it's giving yourself the time and the space to check in. And you will make mistakes in that. Because, like, there will be moments where you're, like, sailing. Like, oh, I'm so embodied. I'm so, like, in tune with myself. And then every day where it's just like, oh. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what happened. Yeah. I just snapped. That's good. No, that's good. And, you know, I will say, like, what you just made me think of is one. So I do think sharing some coping strategies that I've attempted to use or tried to use when I feel overwhelmed or frustrated. One is actually cleaning. Cleaning is a very therapeutic thing. Like, if I need to do some dishes or something and it's a lot on my mind, cleaning actually is very helpful with calming me down and finding a center. Yeah. And not being like that narrative, because that narrative play like a movie, baby, okay? So it helps me bring it down. Yeah, I mean, I got the beginning, the middle, the end, the bloopers, all of it, the credits. So yeah, that helps me kind of calm myself down and just like, okay. And then I have an extra room right now that I use for like prayer, but also if I'm overwhelmed, I just go in there and like lay on the floor. I just lay on my back. Sometimes that really helps with just get horizontal. Yeah, lay it down, just lay there. That's helpful. Again, I talked about breathing. Breath work is the first thing you can do. If you can't do nothing else, you can breathe. Praise God for that. Take some deep breaths. That really helps. Stretching has been another one where it's like, because you talked about, being embodied. I do know that, like, if I'm having a stressful time or whatever, I typically, when I go to sleep, when I wake up, wherever I'm holding the stress somewhere, usually it's in my back, like my back top, like neck area or whatever, or it's in my back, my lower back. So I've learned to like stretch that out, just stretch, like stretch. Or if I feel really intense, I'll hit some jumping jacks.
just to really try to like get it out. Or I'm going to take a walk. One thing I'm going to do is take a walk now. Get out there and go walk. My auntie told me that in a very, she could have told me a little calmer, you know, in a little more nurturing way. But it doesn't take away from what she said, which was when you feel overwhelmed and you feel like you don't want to whatever, you don't, you know, you go take a walk. And I'll never forget that. And I love taking a walk. I will take a walk. I will take a quick little 10-minute walk, whatever it is. And that is the most helpful thing. So I did want to offer some of those. And then I wanted to say too, because sometimes when I'm upset or whatever, I'm experiencing a lot of things. And I've had a few times where I'm like, how do I feel? and it's almost like it's hard to like, it's like I don't know how I feel. I just know what's up here. And I feel like my brain is telling me how to feel, but I actually don't feel it in my body. And that's weird. I'm sure I'm not the only person. But you talked about that and I'm like, yeah, no, there's definitely like sometimes I can feel it. And then other times I'm like, I know that this thing is going on and I'm thinking about all these different things. And I'm trying to be really intentional about feeling it in my body or whatever. And I don't feel nothing.
My theory with that is I think because we go immediately to repair. Like we want to fix it. And sometimes what you're feeling and what you're experiencing internally is not about the solution. It's about like the process.
How it feels in it.
Yeah, like it's that emotional kind of just like your bandwidth and like holding space for the reality of those emotions. But when you're in a mindset, and I do this too, where it's like you're creating a narrative, you're trying to interpret the meaning of the situation, the meaning of the thing, and then also rationalizing like, okay, well, I know this, that, and this about this person and that thing, and because you want to solve it like it's a puzzle, and it's like sometimes it's less about the narrative and the interpretation, and it has to be more about the space where it's like this thing happened, and in response to this thing, this is how I've been activated. And I feel these sensations and these parts of my body, and these are the thoughts that I'm having around that, and like all of this is valid. But before I go to like, so then how do we fix it? How do we, before I can even get over here, because I know I can, and I know that's my default. I want to go, how am I going to fix it? Before, let's leave space for this thing, because in my experience, when I'm trying to fix it before I felt it, sometimes the actions that I'm taking and then the resulting consequences of that only make the feeling worse. It doesn't make it better. So, because I haven't really sat with I haven't felt it. I gotta feel it first.
That's good.
Or I want to be able to feel it first, allow space for that. And you can set, I think it's very much okay to set like boundaries around that. Like if that means you're going to take a full day okay, let's be realistic. We got responsibilities outside of managing our emotions. So you may not be able to take a full day to feel the thing. But whatever time you can and want to prioritize to kind of just sit in them emotions, definitely do that.
Absolutely.
And you don't need to judge the emotion. You don't need to interpret the emotion of it beyond just identifying what it is. And again, like I was saying earlier, I think the way that I experience emotions, and I would venture to say that many probably also experience it this way, but some people may be different, is just a number of things at the same time. It's not just one, but one takes precedent. So if it helps you from moving from, okay, I felt it, now I want to move into, okay, like what can I do? What needs to happen for me to restore balance? Because sometimes it may be actually, okay, there's an action that needs to be taken to resolve, to repair. And sometimes just like, I need to change my narrative. I need to reframe how I'm seeing the thing.
Exactly.
Because it may not be what I think it is.
That's good.
Or to really observe the facts. Because it's like,
That's
we can spin a narrative so freaking fast,
yes,
bro.
we can.
Especially if you are a person that is very comfortable being in your own mind. Like, you can spin a narrative instantaneously, and you don't even have all the facts
like a
and
job.
pieces. Yeah, it's like, hold on. So, like, let's observe and describe. Yeah. What are the actual facts? Yeah. And then what were the things that I actually registered, and how did I respond to those things? Yeah. And so I love the framework of dialectical behavioral therapy, because I think it really nicely puts those two things into orbit in a nice way. It's obviously not a perfect framework. Like, every framework has its pros and its cons, and what works for some people may not work for others. But when I was learning about DBT and them skills, I was like...
And tell us just briefly what is...
So, dialectical behavioral therapy is a type of therapy that focuses on mindfulness, but then also considers, like, there are biological factors, there are psychological factors, and there are social factors that are going to influence how people show up.
That's good.
Okay. And a part of the skills that you learn are coping mechanisms that they kind of like level up to help you with managing the intensity of whatever it is that you're experiencing when you become activated by a stimulus. And that stimulus could be outside of you, so in your environment, or it can be internally as well. And so the one skill that I've already named is called observe and describe. So it's literally you observing, like, sitting in your space, observing what is happening. And what it allows you to do is to pick up on the things that maybe you wouldn't otherwise notice, and then describing, well, what's happening. Not how you feel about it, not interpreting, well, it means this, or I think this is happening. It's literally like, I'm sitting in this room, I'm on this chair, I can feel that the seat is putting pressure on my thigh, on my right thigh. It's warm in here. I can feel your body heat next to me. The camera is directly in front of us. I see that blinking light. Like, it's literally just... But yeah, that's one of the skills, is observing. There's also another basic skill, is the stop skill. So, like, literally just stop. So if you were in a narrative, like, in creating a movie in your mind, you stop. And if you gotta say it out loud, say it out, stop.
Yes.
And then you can go do something else.
Yep.
Or you can stop and be like, okay, so, like, what else do I have access to right now? Like, clearly I'm in my mind about it. So, like, I need to get out of my mind and maybe, like, get in touch with body, or I just need to distract for a moment. Like, I'm gonna come back to this problem later because I want to solve it, but, like, I need to distract. So, yeah. And then there's a number of other skills. There's, like, the tip skill, which stands for, like, temperature. I forget what the I stands for. I forget what the P stands for.
That's all right.
But what I can do is I can you can honestly just type in DBT skills card in Google or whatever browser or search engine you use, and it will pop up, and it lists all the different skills, and it also, like, categorizes, like, kind of like what it would attend to.
Okay, nice. Yeah.
But well, yeah, when I learned, because I worked at a residential facility, and that's what they started to use with the residents there. I was like, oh my God, these are so useful.
Yeah,
like,
good.
And because of the acronyms, and there's even one for, like, when you're in communication with someone, you're trying to negotiate. There's a skill for that. And I'm just like, this is so useful. Like, so useful. Like, because the traditional type of therapy you're gonna, is CBT, which is cognitive behavior therapy. And that's...
I mean, no shade to the people who do it. People do need it. You do need to repack the thoughts.
You need another...
It need to be another...
You need another...
Absolutely.
You need something else because if you're just doing CBT alone, now, that may work for some people.
Right.
But, like, that don't work. I need more than CBT.
I need more than
CBT. Because I'm already doing that myself.
Right. Hello?
Like, CBT is, like, you're thinking, what are the thoughts?
I know.
Okay, what are the behaviors?
Yeah.
Okay, what's the antecedent? Because that's one of the things. Like, well, what preceded the thing that got you acting?
That you got.
You mean? Yeah, I'm already doing that.
Yeah.
So I need a little bit more off the top.
I gotta dig deeper.
Exactly.
I need a deeper thing.
So more somatic practices and dialectical things. Yeah, that's good. That's better for me.
I really like the focusing on what is actually happening. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to, so me and Ebony are both people who talk to ourselves. We talk out loud. Mm-hmm. And I know that there are a number of people who do that. If you are somebody,
verbal processing.
Yeah, if you are somebody, like, I just want to say that's not weird. Mm-mm. It can be healthy. It really can be healthy, mm-hmm. especially if you are up here, similar to us. Mm-hmm. It can be healthy to get it out. Yeah. Reiterating what actually happened. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Because again, the narrative. Mm-hmm. Where was we at?
So you were saying the importance of reiterating.
Oh yes, what actually happened. Mm-hmm. So like being able to actually process what actually happened versus what you're thinking about. Mm-hmm. So this has been something like when I'm washing the dishes, whatever. Mm-hmm. I'll start to say like, okay, I'm upset because X, Y, and Z. Mm-hmm. And this is what happened, mm-hmm. and this is what I said. This is what was responded, mm-hmm. and like just really talking through it, mm-hmm. so that I can really make sure that I'm fully understanding. Like, all right, how did I get here? Mm-hmm. And I said I feel this way, so I'm perceiving it as this, mm-hmm. but that's not what happened. This is what happened. Mm-hmm. That's really helpful. Mm-hmm. Even just to calm down. It might not take away from you being upset about whatever it is. Right. But to at least find a sense of balance. Because again, you're going to feel a way about things. Things are going to hurt your feelings or make you angry or whatever. And that's fine. That's fair. That's human. Mm-hmm. But not letting the emotion override how you're showing up, what you do, your decision.
The logic.
Yeah. Not letting the emotion override the logic. Mm-hmm. Because when that happens, then we see people do foolish things, mm-hmm. that, get them hurt, or get somebody else hurt. Mm-hmm. And the whole time you just riding off of an emotion that was based on something that you really was never really like. You created a narrative. Next thing you know, you in jail.
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
That was the yo, okay. Whoop, whoop, whoop. For real? Well, you said jail. That's what came out. That's fair.
The last thing we want to hit on was a key phrase from the Barefoot Therapist on Instagram that shared a hard truth. And I thought this really tied into the topic of accountability. So this is what it said. Some of you want grace for your wounds, but offer no repair for the harm you cause. What are your thoughts on that?
Deep. T. I mean, yeah. Yeah. So
get into it now.
Yeah. That means she getting sleepy. Just so we all know, that means she started to get sleepy. That's the first song. Let's see.
Oh, there's been many more. I've contained myself.
Oh,
I've contained myself. That's the first time I let it go.
That was okay. You doing good. All right. So you want grace for your wounds, but offer no repair for the harm you have caused. I think that. Absolutely, yes. There are people who are like, I just need grace. Extend me grace. Be patient with me. Mm-hmm. However, when I'm trying to hold you accountable, you lack self-awareness, and you're not good at being accountable. So instead of sitting with what I'm communicating, you're automatically on the defense. Yeah. You're automatically trying to make me feel wrong about what I'm saying, about how I'm experiencing you or whatever it is that I'm bringing to you. But yet you're asking me to be patient and understanding. And it's kind of like, I can do those things, but I also need you to show up in that. Right. And a positive exchange of that is, if Ebony's holding me accountable, if I'm holding Ebony accountable, there's also patience. There's also a discarding defense to hear and understand. And being somebody who has facilitated rooms, you know, when we set the
ground rules.
The ground rules, thank you. You know, one of the things is listen to understand, not to respond.
Yeah.
A lot of people are listening to respond, and it is out of defense. And it is sometimes a part of them not being able to sit with their decisions or their choices and how they are being received. And again, it all goes back to self-awareness for me and emotional intelligence. That is something that is lacking. We're talking about it a lot, but I don't know that us talking about it is helping with people actually strengthening the muscle. And those are things that you don't just have, you grow over time. There are some people who come into this world very like self-aware, but those are like one-offs. Self-awareness is something you I think you learn over time when you're able to sit with things and you're giving the safe space to actually be able to understand like, okay, this was wrong, let me do this differently. And it goes back to, or I don't know if it goes back or forward to our conversation about character.
I also agree in response to some of the things you spoke to. There are 2 things I wanted to respond to, but I think I'm forgetting the second one, so I'll just go with the first. And if the second comes, great. If not, that's fine too. But it was the comment around listening to understand and not to respond. That is very much a a thing in like nonprofit spaces. Very much a thing in like mental and behavioral health and just trying to improve communication. But what it made me think of is like, but you are also listening to respond. Like the when you hear something that resonates with you, it makes you think of something that, and now you want to express whatever it is that you thought. And it makes me think like how evolutionary like language is, because you can very much depict a thing in a certain way using specific terminology, but then when you start to like unpack it and you see like the nuances in that, it's like this is the thing that we say to simplify it, but it's really there's more parts to that. And so like the listening to get to the understanding is really requiring and asking of you to be curious about someone else's point of view, their perspective.
Absolutely.
Because if you don't think their lived experience is valid in any way, shape, or form, and you just have this blanket generalization of like they're wrong and you're right, then there's really nothing for y'all to talk about. Because it's like you're just going to disregard and negate everything they have to say. But if you are leaning into like, okay, well, how are you arriving at that conclusion? Right. What have you experienced? Perhaps there are things that you experienced that I've not experienced, so therefore I need to recognize that like we are not all living the same lives. You know, we're not all managing or navigating the same exact factors in the same exact way. We're different. We're different, quite literally. And so when you are listening to someone, to understand, I think that's what it's about. It's like, because sometimes it's not necessarily that you're going to be like, oh, I've definitely had that experience, I've definitely felt that way about that specific situation. It's just more so, oh, I'm hearing you paint a picture of how you navigated, arrived, experienced the thing, and that I've not seen it or experienced that way, but I can appreciate, and the fact that you brought up like these are the harms or these are the consequences of these factors being at play and me not being aware of it. Okay, absolutely. I agree with your suggestion. Or we should continue to unpack this.
Exactly.
The other thing I wanted to speak to was and it had come back to me, and now I think I just lost it again. Brain. I love you and you make me struggle. So okay, listening to respond, I hit that one. What was the other caveat? It was like I think I just have to let it go, unfortunately, because it's not. Even though I'm just trying to fill space so my brain can find it. I can't but it was like kind of attached to the idea of like the listening to understand, getting the point of view, but it's escaping me.
Well, yeah, that's fair.
So I'll leave it there and maybe it'll come back to me, maybe it won't. But also too, like, offering in the quote where it says that you offer no repair for the harm you cause, it's this idea that like people have to extend, you have to see or experience that people are extending grace to you first before you're even willing to be held accountable and to take responsibility for the ways in which you show up. So like, case in point, like if someone does point out to you like, hey, this happened, it made me feel this way, right, and I want to know like what can we do in the future to prevent that from happening, or just to have a different game plan in motion. And their response in defense, because you brought up defense, is like, well, let me tell you about all the times that you don't let me down. I didn't say nothing. It's like, whoa, wait a minute.
Flag on the play, buddy.
Because how is that my fault?
Yeah.
Like, if you
never said
never said it, then how the hell am I supposed to know? Like, I'm supposed to read your mind? Like, what we doing?
What are we talking about?
That's
so good. Because a lot of times that's what defense looks like.
Yeah, it's like, well, you did this to me and I didn't say anything. And it's like, well, why didn't you? Because now we got to take time to express, well, why didn't you say anything? Because you think that you couldn't come to me and bring it to my attention.
Yeah. Wow.
Like,
I'm triggered a little bit. Wow.
So, and then again,
wow.
The second thing I wanted to comment on, it came to me when I got to that point, and then it left. I could see it like it's like somebody hold up a sign like it was this, and then if I don't latch onto it when it happens, it's like gone. They just like what the heck, bro? So yeah, I'll just leave it there. Like I won't say too much more, but I do think that it's important to
well,
now I'm just losing words.
It's all right. I was gonna say the offer no repair for harm you cause to like coming like zoning out a little bit. I think it makes me think of like, as we move through life, like, because we're gonna make mistakes and because things are gonna come up, right? Like,
I remembered it.
Go. Say it now.
So it goes back to the listening to understand and so listen to respond. It's like a part of people knowing that you are listening to them and taking in what they're saying is your ability to summarize what they said and your own words.
Yes.
And in therapy, we call that reflection statements. Yeah. So it's like, I heard you say bada boom, bada boom, bada boom. And we do a great job. I mean, we're trained social workers. but we also do, I've also done that before by my social work training. So, but it's like, we do a good job. But I think it's also a part of the fact because we verbally process things. Yeah. So we're used to saying a whole load before we get to the summary. We're used to giving all the context before we get to the main idea. Yeah. But when we're listening to each other, we're both very good at being able to succinctly summarize. Like, okay, this is what I heard. These were the main points. Yeah. And that's how you let people know that you really were listening to them. You heard them. And you heard them. But if you don't give that reflection, then they could just be talking to the wall and they don't even know. Like, they don't even know.
And it creates space for
you to correct as well.
Yes, because if I say something and then E gives it back to me,
I'm like, that's not what I meant.
I'm like, right. Then I can either confirm that that's what I meant, or actually no, that's not what I wanted to say. I actually meant this. Because again, language evolves and it changes. So we may use words here, we may use words there. This person could be defining that word as what? Oh,
it wasn't right under my mouth. It was so close to my chin. It's like you pulling the words out my mouth. That's crazy. Sorry to interrupt.
Okay.
Because I opened my mouth. I'm sorry. Because you were saying like it gives people.
I got it. Yeah. Because people's definitions of words could be different depending on, like you said, their experience.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I could be defining a word as one thing or see it as this thing, and she could define it as something else. And so I'm using it in this context, and she receives it differently than what I meant it based off of her lived experience. And so, yeah. There was more. We make mistakes. We're going to make mistakes. And I think the important part is growth. And being open to growth. And in order to grow right, I would say, you have to be accountable. And so the part where she says offers no repair for the harm you cause, I guess what I'm sitting with is like, sometimes things will happen. We will do things to people and we'll never actually, like, what if something happens within a relationship, right? Y'all end it. Y'all no longer are talking. That person may never know if you grew or not. Right? Like, they may never know if you learned from the thing or not.
Yeah.
However, it doesn't mean that you don't learn from it. Even if they gonna know or they not gonna know. So I do think that, like, yes, extend grace and receive grace. But always remain open, though, to growing from a thing, even if you can't repair the relationship, maybe is where I'm going towards. Because, again, you might, similar to the experience or the example that I shared earlier, I apologize that person wasn't ready to receive it. That person may never know nothing else about me. So their experience with me stopped there.
Yeah.
So that is their perception of me. And even though I did apologize, I can't shift their perception of me.
Right.
I can.
They haven't experienced you since.
Because they haven't experienced me since. I can, though, recognize what I did, think about how do I want to make sure I don't do that again, and apply those things.
Exactly.
Recognizing I might mess up, but at least I'm better off than I was. And the mistake that I made before is not, I won't make the same exact one.
Right. Yeah.
So I do want to offer that, because I think, like, this idea of offer no repair to the harm you cause, like, there's some harm that you caused that you can't necessarily go back and repair or fix. But it doesn't mean that you don't become better from it.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a great point of clarity. Yeah, for sure. All right, well, I think that's been the quiet part out loud. Actually, the loud part's out loud, because we were rowdy this episode.
We were, weren't we?
But it was great.
If you enjoyed this episode, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Please leave a 5-star review. If you are listening and would like to watch, head on over to www.youtube.com/@theqpol-216. Thanks for tuning in. See you on the next episode.